Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so incredibly stoked to have you here today because we're diving headfirst into a hidden, microscopic world that honestly feels like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi thriller. We're talking about nature's ultimate horror movie villains. If you're fascinated by the wild, weird, and sometimes deeply unsettling mechanisms of the natural world, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're unpacking the masterminds of the animal kingdom, organisms whose entire survival depends on the total biological takeover of others.
Let's kick things off with a quick question. Really think about it. What is the absolute most terrifying organism on Earth? I mean, when we picture nature's monsters, our brains almost instantly go to these massive, imposing creatures, right? You're probably picturing a great white shark silently patrolling the ocean, or a huge grizzly bear, or a lion. But I'm telling you right now, the true architects of terror out there, they aren't the ones chasing you down. They're way, way smaller.
Okay, let's dive into this. Think about your traditional predators. These guys rely entirely on brute strength, speed, and physical power to overpower their prey. It's super straightforward. The faster or stronger animal wins the day. But then you have parasites. Parasites? They don't bother with brute strength. They don't need to outrun you. Instead, they rely on pure manipulation, mind control, and literal biological takeover. It's this entirely different evolutionary strategy, trading physical power for incredibly complex, almost unbelievable biological hacking.
So to really wrap our heads around this, let's define exactly what we're looking at. A parasite is, simply put, an organism that survives by invading, controlling, and feeding on other living beings. They don't just, eat their host from the outside, they literally weave their own existence into the host's biology. And based on the research we're going through in this explainer, some of these things are so bizarre they genuinely seem like rejected concepts for a horror movie. They don't just kill, they puppet.
Let's jump right into Act 1, the body snatchers. Physical takeovers.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer, deceptive brilliance on display. We're looking at parasites that physically warp their hosts, basically turning them into a fleshy billboard. Take this flatworm, Leucochloridium paradoxum. Just imagine being a regular everyday snail. This flatworm infects you, forces its way into your eye stalks, and transforms those delicate little stalks into wildly pulsating, brightly colored beacons. Why? Because from up above, to a bird, those eye stalks now look exactly like juicy, wriggling caterpillars. The flatworm is actively tricking birds into eating the snail's eyes just so it can get inside the bird's stomach to finish its life cycle. I mean, it is just a masterclass in physical deception.
If you thought the snail was rough, let's head over to the ocean for Cymothoa exigua, the tongue-eating louse. This little guy performs what is arguably one of nature's most gruesome acts. So first, the louse sneaks into a fish through its gills and latches directly onto the fish's tongue. Second, it systematically drains the tongue of blood until the organ literally withers up and just falls off. And third, and this is the truly mind-blowing part, it permanently replaces the organ. It hooks its own legs into the fish's mouth and acts as a fully functioning, living tongue. The fish just keeps right on living, and the louse gets a front row seat to literally every single meal. Crazy, right?
Moving right along to Act 2, the mind controllers. Loss of free will.
So we're escalating here from physical body snatching to something deeply psychological. Losing a body part is horrific, sure, but what happens when a bug steals your actual free will? Enter the emerald cockroach wasp, or Ampulex compressa. This wasp essentially turns perfectly healthy cockroaches into living, breathing zombies. Here's how it goes down. The wasp attacks and with absolute surgical precision injects its venom directly into the cockroach's brain. But the venom doesn't kill it. Instead, it specifically short-circuits the neural circuits controlling the escape reflex. It literally removes the cockroach's will to run away. Then the wasp grabs the docile roach by its antenna and leads it, like a dog on a tiny leash, back to its burrow to be used as fresh, living baby food for its larvae.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how varied and sophisticated these mind control tactics really are. We've got two entirely different parasites here, completely hijacking nervous systems. First up, the infamous Cordyceps fungus. It infects ants, takes total control of their motor functions, and forces them to climb high up onto a leaf or a branch. Once the ant is anchored in that perfect spot, the fungus kills it and literally bursts out of the ant's head to rain spores down on the rest of the colony. Then, on the other side, look at Toxoplasma gondii. This microscopic parasite infects rodents and completely alters their brain chemistry to make them less afraid of cats. So the rodent loses its fear, gets eaten, and boom, the parasite successfully reaches the cat, which is the exact host it needs to reproduce.
Which brings us to Act 3, the threat to us, the invaders inside.
Now, it's really easy to sit back, watch this explainer, and think, wow, the insect world is terrifying. Sure glad I'm a human. But we can't really stay safely behind the fourth wall here. We have to address the elephant in the room. Are humans safe from this kind of biological takeover? We all like to think our advanced immune systems and modern medicine keep us perfectly insulated from nature's more gruesome mechanics, don't we?
Unfortunately, the answer is a resounding no. We are absolutely not safe. Humans play host to some incredibly disturbing parasites too. Take the eye worm, loa. This thing physically tunnels through human tissue. And yes, just like the name implies, it can visibly crawl right across the surface of a person's eye. Or consider the Guinea worm, Dracunculus. This organism can grow up to a full meter long inside the human body, and when it's ready to release its larvae, it painfully bursts right through the host's skin. Oh, and remember Toxoplasma gondii from a minute ago? The one that messes with rodent brains? Humans can catch it too, and researchers have actually been investigating its possible subtle effects on human behavior and psychology. So yeah, the threat is very real, and it can literally be inside us.
Let's move into our final section, Act 4, Evolution's Dark Creativity.
When we zoom out and look at these organisms collectively, we're not just looking at isolated, gross-out facts. We're seeing this massive, overarching narrative of how life just finds a way to survive, no matter how deeply unsettling the method is. So the crucial point is that this biological manipulation goes all the way down to the reproductive level. Look at Wolbachia bacteria and Succulina barnacles. These guys are reproductive hijackers. They don't just eat their hosts, they fundamentally alter their biology in the most astonishing ways. We're talking changing the host's sex, completely sterilizing them, or even forcing the host to care for the parasite's offspring as if it were their own. They hijack the very future of the host species. For these parasites, survival depends entirely on absolute biological takeover.
Which brings us to this incredibly profound quote from the source material we're analyzing today. Some of the real monsters on Earth are far smaller than we imagine. These organisms really do reveal a completely hidden world right under our noses. It's a world where the apex predator isn't the one with the biggest teeth or the sharpest claws, but the one with the most devious chemical and biological hacks. They absolutely represent the most disturbing yet fascinating examples of evolution's creativity.
And that leaves us with one final, kind of haunting thought to wrap up our explainer today. If we've already discovered organisms that can replace tongues, turn bugs into mind-controlled zombies, and alter the fundamental behavior of mammals, what else is hiding in the unseen microscopic world, just waiting to take control? Keep that in the back of your mind the next time you step out into nature. Thank you so much for joining me on this deeply fascinating, if slightly terrifying, deep dive today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.